Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my first podcast ever. It's been years in the making. Woo, being years in the making, definitely a historic moment for me, personally. My name is David. You can also call me D. And in the name of this podcast, we basically it's deconstructing topics, and hence the little D in deconstructing. It's based on my first initial, David here. So I will be and with you guys deconstructing topics here. This is my first podcast, and it's been definitely years in the making. It's never too late, for those people that are gonna be listening to Mike. It's never too late to do something that you always want to do. But as I go into this journey, I welcome those who I'm gonna share this with. It's definitely gonna be definitely interesting. For years, I've just been observing and absorbing the landscape, and the intro. The intro did not, more or less say what I'm talking about, because I think I just got a little bit excited there. But we're gonna be definitely talking politics, my kind of avenue. Just to give you a little background, I was born in Puerto Rico and raised here in New York City, well, primarily in the Bronx. In Puerto Rico, topics is a thing, forever and ever in regards to the status. That would be another podcast. But, if you Google, how can I say, politics in Puerto Rico, the first thing you're going to see is a boxing match. I mean, that's how heavy and intense and passionate Puerto Ricans get with their politics. But again, that's something that we will be discussing in a different podcast. So it's been ingrained in me, and coming into this country, observing this system, and just observing, and that's all I've been doing. Just something always have been telling me, just relax, hold on, the right time is coming. And what better time than this historic day? It's April 22nd, 2023. Next year will be the presidential election, and the way I feel about things, is, I think more than ever, the way have seen it is that in this country, in this beautiful country of the United States, people they've been waking up a little bit more than before, and they've been tired of the same, hearing the same duopoly, the same thing over and over. It's a recycle between the elites, corporations, and so on. And I'm going to try my best not to even mention any names in this first podcast, but I'm just going to use this as a frame to what we will be discussing, and how could we, we're going to break down topics, and kind of show like a point of view. And I say we because we, as me, the host, and you, the listener, we want people to start in a way that when you listen to these topics, is that, not just listen, but just start walking on that path to say, wow, I did not think about it that way. So that's definitely what we're going to be doing. Again, this is a personal, historic day for me, and it's definitely going to be a historic day, I believe. Going forward, I'm going to do my best to try to I'm probably going to do another podcast tomorrow or later on to see how it goes. I'll be touching bases with current events, what's going on. Unfortunately, the one thing that I have seen is that people always consume information on just, biased information, and don't see it the other way. Boy, sometimes we ain't going to see it, the bigger picture of things. And one of the things that I always notice, and I just want to say, and I give the audience a heads up, this podcast, it's not going to be edited, so it's off the cuff, or straight from the heart. So basically, there's going to be some hiccups, there's going to be a little bit of hiccups here and there, but hey, listen, we learn through experience, and hey, sometimes I say, you know what? If I make a little mistake, if I say something, if my thoughts is not there, by all means, I'm all human. But again, that's what makes something like this so natural, just coming straight from the heart. One of the things that I always notice when it comes to politics, and it's, the same kind of cookie cutter pattern script with two political parties, political party A, political party B. And, when it comes to election, political party A props up political party, the candidate A, the media and its interference, manipulating people to push people one way. And if there's one thing that I have noticed and I've been observing, and it's something that it kind of, how can I say, it breaks my heart a bit in terms that we have two political parties, political party A, political party B. And if I come across, and I've come across many people, where for years, political party A, because political party B is corrupted and pro-corporate and et cetera, et cetera. And, one of the things that I see is that I view these entities as the corruptor, and but I have seen a lot, especially with voters and with people, that the voters, whatever the case might be, I want to refer them to at this point, is that if you allow the corruptor to tell you and that person, their opposition, is more corrupted than I am, and you sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to vote for political party A because political party B is so corrupted, then I start to say to myself, and I start to think, no. Political party A is not corrupted. Political party B is not corrupted. Who's more corrupted than them would be you, because you're allowing them to corrupt your mind. And a lot of times I see that people have allowed themselves to be corrupted to a point where you hate the opposition so much that you forget to like yourself. And again, I'm not going to bring names and things of that nature, but, I've seen and I've been surrounded by people that have always been in the side of political A, and then political A goes on this campaign of just saying, corruption in political candidate B, and I see people just go, yeah, because political candidate B is so corrupt, and huffing and puffing, and because, political B, did I tell you that he's this, and they saying, bro, and I say to myself, whoa, relax there, because it looks like you're showing more energy hating on somebody than loving yourself. Why you just don't unplug yourself and just analyze this? Because at the end of the day, both political parties, political party A, the corrupted political party A, and the corrupted political party B, they benefit from your hate, but you don't benefit from it at all. It's interesting because again, I'm not even trying to avoid any names for the moment, because we'll definitely touch on that, because I want to focus on what, how can I say, would be the blueprint of the things that I would be talking about in the upcoming podcast, which I will be dropping names, dropping everything. So, it's going to be exciting. So when I see that and I see people just put so much energy, hey, I get it. Hey, you exercising the right to vote. And I always tell people, it's interesting. And I remember there was a little documentary I was watching about a couple of months ago. I do remember that, it took place in Watts, California, and there was this black lady who has an organization where they get donations, and either money, stuff, and these are one of the most, I definitely gonna get the information once again, and I'm gonna share it. I'm also gonna share people that I listen to that that have kind of inspired me for me to do this, like kind of like started that fire, like, hey, and there's a lot of people out there that you're gonna love and you're gonna enjoy. Besides, me, I'm hoping that you're gonna enjoy it. So this lady, she what she does with the money and the food drive and all that, she built a school. She helped build a school where kids that are underprivileged or just happen to be in these neighborhoods that are underprivileged, that nobody care about, whatever the case might be. She gives them. I remember there was a part of the documentary, because it was like a little short documentary, where they had kids, doing like science lab work and so on. And the host of, you could say like the host of the little documentary, and I believe I did definitely saw it on YouTube channel, was like, look, in many cases, you don't need the electoral system, the voting system, to make changes in your neighborhood. And one of the things that I want to aim here is that we don't have to necessarily vote to make changes in this country. We could start uniting, taking care of each other through works, through all this and so on. What we need to go is to get together and fight this corruption, fight these corrupted parties that continue to manipulate you, to continue to provide misinformation where there's people that just put so much energy on it. And look, like I said, I'm one to say, well, you look, David, you putting energy on that topic of politics. And I said to myself, well, I'm trying to help you think independent. See, an independent thinker, once you get out of that corruption, once you start to think on your own, you're going to start to see things different. And that's what happened with me. Maybe a long time ago, I was trying to eat that. I was trying to, eat that kind of cereal or what they call drink that Kool-Aid. But I've been observing. I've been like kind of seeing things from another different perspective. And that's why I decided, you know what, and for years and years. And keep in mind, it's interesting because I've been listening to podcasts for like since infancy. When I used to tell people when I had my Apple iPod, it's what is called that little apparatus or whatever, and I used to download these podcasts, and I used to tell people about, hey, listen, I listened to this podcast. Maybe at that time, maybe there was probably like hundreds, maybe no more than 1,000 people doing podcasts. People was like, hey, what's that? But now that's the thing now, But that's now it's beyond the thing. Now that's like a thing where just about everybody is doing something. So I decided, you know what, podcasting would not be that my own way where you could listen to me. I definitely want to expand, and I definitely will. That's for sure. So, so I go back to what I said about corruption. If we allow these entities to use us and benefit from our hate, our anger, the deceitful tactic that they use, they got these corporate medias, and then some people that I'm surrounded with, then they go and listen to these quote unquote independent media, but they're not really independent because somebody's actually paying them. And you consume these false information, and you start becoming more corrupted than dumb. And it says, why is it that when it comes to the elections, and just think about it, and I hear this a lot, and I could tell when you talk to me with the same talking points, I know who you're listening to. And it comes to voting, oh, we're going to vote for the person, the lesser evil, or we're going to vote for the person because we don't want the other character because the other person I think is going to be worse. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. We're going to vote for the lesser evil, the lesser corrupted. Think about it. Why is it? That's what they telling us to. If you're not 100% sure on the candidate that you want to pick, and that's what they running with, and you falling into that trap, it tells you that they're both evil. You don't have to vote for evil. You don't have to vote for corrupted. You could just skip it and say, you know what, stupid of you. And I hate to say this, I hate to throw that word, but it would be your ignorance. It would be you that would be corrupted to fall into that trap. And when I come across people and say, well, I'm going to vote for this person because it's the lesser of evil. No, it's not the lesser of evil. They're both evil. You don't have to vote. You don't have to. What you get, a little badge, a little sticker when you vote, that's it. Yeah, so you get a little sticker that says I voted, while they get an alert, a little text saying cha-ching, cha-ching, their banks is going up. See, that's what part of this podcast would be, just to break down who benefits from who. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone to vote. I always said that voting locally has a higher impact than voting for the president on a federal level. So not trying to discourage anyone to vote or anything like that. But we have to understand how they use votes and the voting system, not to necessarily help you, but for you to be complicit of the corruption that they constantly have committed and is right in plain sight. And we basically saying to ourselves, wow. And it's going to take me, and there's a lot of people like me, but you know what? Election season is coming in 2024, and we definitely have to put alert on people and wake up people, because it's no longer that they brainwashing you. And it used to be that thing, hey, listen, politics, politicians, they brainwash you. And it's funny because now when I'm talking about politicians, I don't necessarily say politicians. You want someone who's a real politician, quote unquote, then vote for someone who's going to be a policymaker. Don't vote for a politician, because I think now, if you look at my dictionary, you put a politician, they basically, sounds like to me like that's a bad thing now. Let's make things happen and say, like, listen, we need a policymaker. We need somebody that's going to implement policy that's actually going to help the community and they're going to help you. And that's one of my missions here. So in regards to the brainwashing, I don't see when people be like, no, you're being brainwashed. No, you're being corrupted. You're corrupted, that's dumb, but you know what? You're not sitting on their table. Political party A corrupted. Political party E corrupted. You, the voter, corrupted. Who's eating the lobsters, drinking the wine, and at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning? Who's sending a chauffeur to take their kids to school? Not you. They are. They good. They good. And they benefit from your anger because they benefit from your ignorance. It's funny, we talk about, there's these things, there's this word, simp. It's the word simp, and, when someone simp for someone, basically when someone, and I'm just going to use the word someone because it could go both ways, man or woman, woman and man, is that when you do so much for somebody, but they don't do for nothing for you, but you bend over, you go all out, if they tell you jump, you ask how high. And that's what voters have become. They become simps of this institution, this, political process, and this, nonsense with these corrupted parties. You become a simp. You become a slave, in a sense that, you're fighting their fight. F that. So now, in this historic, and I'm sorry if I ranted, listen, I'm 18 minutes from here. I definitely don't want to keep it long because I want people to enjoy. There will be another podcast coming up pretty soon because now my blood is boiling and that's what I want. I mean, I also want to thank, there's a few people that know what I'm doing, that I told them what I'm going to do. And before I forget, I should have put this in the intro, but it was about a week ago, if I'm not mistaken. I take a Uber, and when I take the Uber, I took the Uber from my house to the train station. Me and the Uber driver started having a conversation, and we started having a conversation about, what's going on, current event, and I remember when the Uber driver says, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this country, and that was kind of like my piggyback thing, cue, where I told him, yeah, because political candidate over there that people seem to be obsessed at, that for me is a distraction, and when I'm talking about Trump here. I say, hey, listen, he's a distraction Uh, and basically, we're forgetting what's really going on. And I mentioned to him, "Do you know that United States is helping, you know, another country bomb Yemen?" And he was like, "Wow, I did not know." And that's crazy. You know, the Uber driver is responding. And as we driving, and this is 5 in the morning. And I'm not gonna say we driving, he's driving, but you get the gist. At 5 o'clock in the morning, we passing by a crime scene. There's cops, detectives. There's the little cops that are hiding the bullets. And as we see here, the Uber driver goes and says, "You see what I'm talking? See, this is what we talking about. Nobody talks about this. This is something that I see every day as a driver, shootout, and so on. And this is, and then that's when he was like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. That Trump is all distraction so that we won't talk about the real issues and so on. And as he's going and he's gonna drop me off, and he's like, you know what? The Uber driver's like, I could listen to you all day, my man. I enjoyed this a lot, and you know, do you have a podcast or YouTube? And I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, I'm out of here. And it's just to tell you that, how can I say to you, that was kind of like a reminder. And I'm not going to say just a reminder. I think the best thing was for me to think that was just a reminder for me not to no longer remind myself what I need to do, but just do it. And that's what happened. And that's where I'm at right now at the moment. That was like the last reminder of a reminder. No, do shit. Do it. Because believe me, there's a lot of people that are going to benefit from this. There's a lot of people that are going to open their eyes and start to say, you know what? I've been a sucker for all this time. I can't believe I was being allowed to be corrupted, not brainwashed, corrupted to the point that you sold your soul, your life, everything, you're saving just to put these people to power. For what? You don't benefit from them. Unless you have some stake on it, then but we don't need that. We need to help each other out more than ever. We need to care for each other. We need to start having avenues where we could actually help each other and open people's mind and say to ourselves, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Power to the people. And how can we make people, our communities, and so on, how can we succeed and be able to once and for all say to ourselves, hey, listen, we come first. We come first. I'm sorry, political party over there corrupted. Nah. You guys gonna write 3,000 books. The media's gonna parade you like if you guys are kings and queens and all that. And what do I get for voting you? I'm still hungry. And like I always tell people, you know what it is about voters is? So, and again, and this is trying to, respect and not disrespect voters, because I'm not here to vote shame. But what it is that these political parties basically would be like, give you a PhD because you voted for me. A PhD. It was like, oh, thank you for voting for me for the 10th time. Here's your diploma, PhD. You know what that PhD is? Poor, hungry, and depressed. That's what you are. But they not. You went 30 years going, yeah, because we fighting you and you are corrupted. They good. They just finished writing their 300th New York Times bestseller book. Oh, they good. You're not. So let's make things happen. Well, if there's anything that I forgot to mention in this intro, I'm pretty sure I would mention it. So I'm going to start uploading this historic moment for not just me, but for you, the listener, and for those around me who know what I was going to do. Thank you for everybody that have supported me and have told me, hey, David, man, I would love to listen to you. From the Uber driver to people that's around me, do you know who you are? Who have thanked me and said, man, David, make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. That's what I say. I always tell people, let's make it happen. And now I'm over here. It's like I'm listening to you because you telling me let's make it happen. So I'm making it happen. Anyways, enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going to upload this. And for one last time, let's make it happen. I'm out. Peace.